Incredible greetings, everybody. Hello, good people. How art thou? I figure since I'm in here on a Sunday, don't typically do live because not typically not working on Sundays. Might as well go live. See if who's up and at 'em on this good old Sunday. Might need a little bit of help. Maybe the more the help questions will come in if we do it on a Saturday. It's not very often that it's when the majority of the world is off. So because it's a weekend day. Well, should I say US. But hello, everyone. I am Shakia, the professor of HSINK365. We are the home of the Honestly Speaking brand of products. We carry the absolute best sublimation ink and paper that allows you to sublimate as low as 365 degrees, as fast as 30 seconds. No butcher paper is required for most applications because it does not bleed through the back. Now, you may have to, of course, use it for, oh God, come on. Cancel. Okay. Yeah. To catch bleed. And there are times, of course, you're going to need to protect your equipment and protect your heat press. But for the paper itself, it doesn't bleed out the back. So you don't have to necessarily use butcher paper on top. So there's a lot of great features. We get amazing colors. I was so stoked. I had a client that just came and picked some things up. I made something for her last year. And she was like, man, our shirts look amazing. The ones you made for my daughters last year. So product is great, so you can check that out on the website, shop.hsink365.com, as well as enroll in our amazing classes, learning how to design and set things up, like all the things that I have been creating for grad seasonal memorials and birthdays and things like that. If you're interested in learning how to do that, definitely check out our classes. And we have a new lineup of classes. So if you could take any class, like something you really, really wanted to learn, let me know. What would that be? All right. All righty. I was looking at a comment. So let me get this all shared out because I was reading a comment. So let's see. I hate when it does this and it just keeps giving me the same notification over and over and over and over and over again. Let's see. Hello. Thank you for joining us this morning. Checking in from Virginia. Hello. Fundamentals of designing. So we actually just did that. Like right before, we took the break. So we wrapped up in like the end of April. Somewhere in there where we went through a lot of things like just understanding, like choosing the right text, how to like understanding shapes, understanding things like that. So we kind of did that. I took a lot of notes from it. I will have that again, but it'll be a slightly different information. So I think the first part of it, we're going to put inside of like a guide. For those who may have missed or don't want to necessarily take the first part of it, we're going to do a little bit from there, but we're going to really expand on it because it really is a lot depending on what type of designs you're trying to create. There are some things that are universal, whether it is for vector, if you're creating raster type designs, if you are creating, line, or if you are trying to do like cartoon type deals, there's a lot of similarities and a lot of like things that are just fundamental to no matter what type of design you're trying to create. But then we have to start you'll have to start to like isolated, based off of specific design things, and then learn the basics and the fundamentals for that as well. So it takes time. I hope you guys are giving yourself time and, and grace, and understanding that although you're in these groups and you're seeing people at different levels, beginners, people who've been doing it for a little bit, and those who have been doing it for a really long time, those who have, for lack of better words, perfected it. You're in a group and you're seeing all these things. Don't rush the process or get down on yourself about not being able to accomplish all those things, because that's a culmination of like years and years and years of trial and error and messing things up. Hell, I just messed up 2 stoles yesterday. So mistakes are going to happen. You'll forever be learning and figuring out ways like to improve it. You may learn something from my classes or learn from something from someone's video. And the more that you do it, a little bit of you will be imparted into that, and you'll figure out how to do things your way and what's going to be best for you. So definitely give yourself some grace as you're kind of navigating this journey. Okay. Let's go over here so that I can change my audience. Let's go over yonder. All right, so we're going to change this to public so that you guys can share this out if you're watching over on Facebook. All right, hold on. Uh-oh. All right. So we're going to go ahead and share this out right now. Let's see. All right, just give me a moment. I just need to go over to my groups and tag. I'm just going through my Facebook groups right now and just doing the tags and things like that. So just bear with me. Just as you're coming in, just drop a hey, how you doing? Let me know who's watching. Go ahead and start dropping your questions. Excuse me. Start dropping your questions, and we're going to get into it. The more questions that we have, the more informative this session is. Hey, if we don't have a lot of questions, it'll be a very short session. And we'll try again next week. Maybe you'll have questions then. You'll post them in the group, and I can answer maybe questions that I see from within different groups and things like that. All right. Let me just go over. Oh gosh, where did I? No, to be honest, I don't even know which groups I did this in. Okay, so let's go over yonder. So if you guys don't know, I'm gonna, while I am going through this and tagging and all that stuff, I'll get you guys know a little bit about me and like the kind of questions that you could ask. So if you don't know, I am well versed in all things silhouette and silhouette studio, and just designing in general. So of course, Photoshop, Illustrator, even some Cricut things. I don't necessarily use Canva for designing for actual like orders or projects. I mainly use it for digital presentations and thumbnails and like, posts for social media posts, things like that. But there are some things that, I know how to work Canva a little bit there. So anything business wise, sublimation, party favors, print and cuts, pigment ink print, anything printers. Now is your opportunity to ask the questions that you haven't been able to find the answers on, or maybe you're still not quite clear on some things. I enjoy what I do. There's no such thing as a dumb question, foolish question, silly question. I don't mind, I've answered the same questions for the past couple of years. So I don't mind answering them again. If you're on and you have a question, you don't have to worry about if someone has asked this question before, sounding silly, dumb, whatever. Like, don't even worry about it. You are on with one of the leading instructors and trainers within this industry. So feel free to post your questions and share with others. All right. Okay, let's see. All right, so I do see a question right now in one of my groups. So I'm going to start there. Someone is asking the question of if you are submitting uh, a print or a design to Office Depot or any of those places for yard signs, what format should it be, PDF or PNG? You want to, of course, check their website to see what it is that they accept. I personally don't really care for saving things as PNGs from Silhouette Studio. If you have transparent areas, if you've taken the transparency down, it's going to leave like open gaps in it. So I don't particularly like to save PNGs. If it's a yard sign, it's really going to be more so of a JPEG. A JPEG is probably going to be your best option if you're saving from Silhouette Studio. But I typically don't like saving from Silhouette Studio because the sizing is not like, it's going to make it larger when you take that whole DPI up, just because of the way Silhouette Studio works. So I typically save as a PDF only because I then take mine and of course put it in Illustrator, or actually I can print it directly from, like, once I save as a PDF, I take it over to VersaWorks. So I have to save as a PDF, or I can save it as a JPEG. But for some reason, my VersaWorks has not been reading JPEG. So I pretty much do PDFs. But it's best that you check with them and see what format they prefer, and just look at the quality of it once you save it from Silhouette Studio. Like, open it back up to see and make sure that it's the quality that you want. Um, all right. Okay, let's see. Let's go over here. All right, let's see. Where are we? Good morning, good afternoon, city girl, country world here. Thank you for showing how to tape the small format printed paper together for the stoles. You're very welcome. Thank you for dropping those peacocks. Thank you for tagging up Beren. Incredible morning, incredible afternoon, depending on where you're watching from. So it's afternoon here on the East Coast, but I know it's still morning for everyone else. All right. Like I said, feel free, guys, to go ahead and start dropping your questions. Take advantage of this opportunity to get your questions answered. I'm pretty sure you have been pulling your hair out about something, trying to figure something out. Something's not quite working for you, trying to troubleshoot something. I am here to genuinely help. So go ahead and drop your questions. Oh, this is probably going to shut down on me. So while I'm waiting for your questions, I'm going to go ahead and save and close out some things because, yeah, it is. All right, so I don't need this because this was all from her sister last year. Actually, I don't even know where okay. Let's see. All right, actually, so we're just gonna copy this. Okay, no, so I saved it over here. All right, so that's actually saved there. So we're gonna go yes. This one I don't have to save. Can my yard sign Tims be using Canva? No, they're not set up for Canva because when you need to put in pictures, there's a certain way that you have to have it set up so that you can like drop a picture and certain things. And then also with like changing colors and things like that. So no, they were not designed and created for Canva. Again, I don't really use Canva for creating designs for finished products. To me, the quality just isn't there. Like once you go to print it out, like the resolution, I'm just, again, my personal preference, I'm just not a big fan of it. So I don't design in there. I know there's an allure for it because there are certain elements that are available to you. But if you're using one of my templates, especially with like the yard signs, it has the Polaroid there. And all you have to do is just drop your pictures in, change your text and things like that. If you are wanting your text to be like the name and stuff to be a certain way based off of like the different effects they have in Canva, create just that name in that effect, save it as a PNG, and then just bring it over to Silhouette Studio. So it is going to be best for you to use it in Silhouette Studio if it's a Silhouette file. Well, for one, it's a Silhouette file, so you can't put it over there anyway. It's not, I'm not even sure like if there's a specific file type to save as to have all the layers and things for Canva anyway. But mine are normally saved as Silhouette files. If it's just shapes, I can, some of them are saved as SVGs. And then I'm slowly working on doing a lot of the Photoshop ones. Like I'm actually working on a few of them now. I design in Silhouette Studio, save it as a PDF, take it over to Illustrator so I can break it down into layers, export that as a Photoshop file, and then I go in and, set it up and label things so that those who use Photoshop can use it as well. So I don't think I don't even know how you would set it up for a template in Canva. Let's see. Do you have a recommended font for split text? No, because you can literally split any text. It just depends on how much of it you want to be visible. What are you putting in the middle? So do you need a wide space to where once you split it, you're not even going to be able to tell what the letters are? So it just really depends on the design that you are creating. I don't remember if I put it over here. Okay, no, the one with the new colors are not. I don't think they are. Okay, that's okay. We're just going to cut and paste. There we go. Okay. Get rid of some of this other stuff in here. It's a whole lot of going on over here. And just to be on the safe side, I will, although I know I already have this saved, but because this is still open, I will save this over here and then close this out. All right, still waiting on those questions, guys. Feel free to post your questions. Right now, I'm just kind of cleared out because if I don't, it will Silhouette Studio, like once you guys start asking design questions, Silhouette Studio will shut down. So I'm just trying to close out some things. Nothing spectacular is going on here. I'm waiting for your questions. Oh, wait. Okay, good. It didn't really. Actually, I'm going to leave that one open because I'm going to need that one. I don't need this. Oh, so you know what? Shoot, I should have left that open. I actually need to set her design up as a Tumblr. So I'll do that. Open them back into it's a Tumblr. You are the GOAT. We're just thanking you this morning for something. But I was just thanking you this morning for something learned from you while working on a project. Well, what was it? I want to know. Do you have a template for various stoles? So I don't really, like, how can I put it? Some people have like designs and all they do is just change out like the background color, like the splashes, or they're using the exact same font for everything. I don't really design like that. I mix and match a bunch of different elements. So let's say, actually, let me just go back, to the one that was there. All right, I'll just open up this one. So I'm always like just mixing and matching things. So if I were to sell it, like, as a template, let's say, it'll be a lot of the same elements that are in and you may already have these elements in other files. So like something like this, I'm a very simplistic designer. I don't do a lot with I don't feel like you have to have splashes and like all these like paint splatters and fire and like all those different things. I just don't design like that, right? Every designer is different. So for me, this was just a matter of putting, that she wanted PHS, which is like the school name. She wanted a crown. She wanted class of 2023. So like I've used this in a multitude of things. So it's just me bringing this over because it was already designed, already set up. I had the Piper logo and I just, incorporated the glitter and things in there. When it comes to the glitter, it's better for you to find your own glitter patterns and in the color that you want. It will take a lot. Like, I'm not into like just designing templates. Like there are some people like that's what they do. Like their money makers is just creating templates, creating digital files. I teach, I actually create these items. I'm designing. So I always say just find your own glitter patterns, because for me to create a quote unquote template where let's say there's 25 different like glitter trims, and then of course you can fill the middle in with that whatever color you want. This is just, she submitted 3 pictures. I went into Photoshop because I do have a version of this where I remove the background completely, but I liked a little bit of like this background because she had them like do like the actual natural smoke in her pictures. So I decided to do that, and I just blended out everything around it, and then I just used the pictures that she gave. This grad is the same thing. Like that's the same grad that is. Okay, so that's the same grad that's from here. I actually took it from here. I added an offset to it, added the glitter to it. The cap, I took it from here, and that is what's above. You did it. So Jayla did it. I just typed out her name. I personally don't really design, like almost every last one of my stoles looks different. Some people will design them, they have a template and they all look the same, and all they do is change out elements. That's just typically not how I design. Let's go to, actually, I'm going to come here and let's go here. And I'm just going to type out stole. So sometimes I will still use like the same fonts and things, but for the most part, they are always a little bit different. So let's look at Brianna Stoll. So they are very much so different. And if you are enrolled in any of my classes, I did a video in the student union on how you can make a template specifically for your stole that you are using, because they are kind of different. We do have in the template vault a no curve stole, because some of them are more straight. I like the ones that have like a little curve to them. So we have both. Ooh, why are you sitting on top of the world like that? Oh snap, did this not save the other side? No. Okay, hold on, hopefully it's in recovered documents. Oh my gosh, hopefully it's in my recovered documents, because that surely did not save. Oh my god, it did not save her stole. O into the J. Oh my gosh. Oh, and there we go. I knew that was going to happen. Trying to open up too many things. All right. Yeah. I'll open up this one, and I got to figure out the Brianna one. This was from a class. Hold on, I'm going to open that one up. So this was from the Stole class, I think 2 years ago. So you can see, like, you just have different setups there. This was from a class, so using glitter here, making the trim all black, using fade bars, and then the picture, she was sitting on top of the 2021. So I just don't really use like the same exact thing every single time. So with his, it was like this, to where it was the cultural flags. I put his picture at the top by his name, and then like how this is set up. This is a design that I originally designed. It said senior at the bottom. I changed it to grad. So like I'm always just mixing and matching different elements. Do you have a one-on-one? I'm so confused and need to start from the beginning. I do offer one-on-ones. And if you want to kind of have that session so that you can get direction, I will say, unless you want to just pay me a lot of money throughout the year to just kind of have sessions by yourself, to learn from the beginning, it can get kind of pricey because there's a lot to learn. I have 20 years of experience. So it just really depends on what it is that you're trying to do. If you're really wanting to hone in on your skills and develop your skills and get better with it, being in one of our programs where we'll meet weekly and like you're getting a little by little by little, but you can book a one-on-one session. It's more like a clarity session, just to kind of really understand where you are, what it is that you're trying to do, setting realistic expectations for yourself, because you're not going to learn this. I am not that person. Hey, it might hurt me, because I'm not that person that's going to say, you can learn this in a month. You're going to be making $1 million. All you have to do is just do this and get an LLC. You're going to make 7 figures. You're going to make 6 figures. I'm not going to be that person that's going to tell you that. Like, it takes time. I remember on one live, someone was like, oh, well, I don't want to wait 5 years. Well, I don't know what to tell you, because you're not going to be able to go and learn all these things in 6 months. So a clarity session, you can definitely book one of those. And then I can kind of give you some direction in the classes that I recommend that you take. Actually watch them, take notes from them, and just build on your skills every quarter, every half year, every year. You just want to keep building and building and building on it. Oh yeah, I design all over the place. That's one reason why I love Silhouette Studio, and I don't immediately design in Photoshop. I like to be able to have things, some of everywhere, move this in. I want to have 2 or 3 versions of it, and kind of see which one I like. And then once I have it, I can set it up to where I can take that final one and create a full-on template for it, whether it's in Silhouette Studio or if it's in Photoshop. Yeah, I only put stuff on my mat if I'm going to cut it or if it's time to print it. Correct. That's exactly how I design. Do you have experience? Wait, have you ever experienced scratch this in Photoshop? What's the best way to correct it? So that basically just means that you don't have enough memory or, and storage space. That's all that means. When it does not save, I will say one of the best things to do is force close your computer. That way it opens back up as recovered. And when you don't have all that other stuff, you can then save it. But that just comes from not having enough space to actually save it. I actually just dealt with that the other day with Photoshop, because for some reason my hard drive is showing full, although I don't really save things to my hard drive. I have clouds. I got to figure out what is double saving and making my hard drive seem like it's full. When doing the grad fans, how do you determine the size of the fan? I'm needing to make some for a kindergarten graduation. So for me, my small fans, I pretty much do everything to 11x17 paper. So my small fans are based off of how big I can fit 2 on 11x17 paper. If it is for just a single one, again, I am just maxing it out to 11x17 paper. That's how I do mine. I'm not sure what size printer you're using, but I have all wide format printers, and that's just kind of how I do mine. Let's go to, so this one has a lot of different styles. So I'll just open up this one to show. And some people choose to make them really small so that they don't have to put extra support sticks. Like, the bigger the fan, the more support you're going to need, or it's just going to flop around or it's going to bend. Some people make them fairly small so that they can just put one stick in between, like on the back of it or in between 2 sheets, and it's not going to flop around. So it just really depends on how you are making your fans. Okay, so this particular one, oops, and they're the same. But if I put it like right against like this one, I'm gonna send it to the back. This is slightly taller than here. So if I were to size them, like, they would end up technically being different sizes because of like the height. Same thing with this one. I'm going to group it together and I can put this here, and it's about the same height as the circle one, but it's not the same width. This one, it is the same width as this, but because I used a different type of picture, it sits up higher than the one that's like the other one that has that same flag. This one is one to where it has width and it has height. So once they are sized to 11 by 17, you're going to get different sizes for all of them. So the fans I made wasn't big enough for my liking. I mean, again, I have some that come out small, way smaller than others. So I don't really think. I mean, if you did not like them, then of course, yeah, they just weren't the right size for you. But there is no set size. And then it also depends on if you are doing print and cut, if you are doing so I've done these like previously, I would pretty much just use my regular printer and then use the print and cut of Silhouette Studio. So if I was doing that and I have to have on the registration marks, of course, that's going to make it significantly smaller because I have to think about where the registration marks are. I have to think about my print borders and stuff like that. So if I wanted this to be where the machine fully cut it, I did not go in and trim away anything because I had a whole bunch of them to do, I'm limited to about here, right? But if I wanted to make this, and then also for if I was doing two small ones and I rotate it, oops, and if we shrink this down to go inside, this is the size. But then I have a Roland BN20. I can make it much bigger than that, but I do use a cardstock backing. So it depends on like the cardstock that I'm using. If I want to use 13 by 19 or 11 by 17, but pretty much I'm always using 11 by 17 to cut the backing out. But I don't need the registration marks, right? So I could max this out based off of the print border. So I could go and, you know, as far as like maxing this out, it would be just slightly bigger than what was there. If I max this out, I now can maybe make it, actually, no, I'm not going to make it bigger because I have to fit two. So we're going to move it over here. We're going to actually do two, and I can rotate it to see if like if I nestle it right next to each other. So one will max out this way, but then now I don't have the space here. So I just select them and they're just going to go down until they fit within the print border. So that's the max size for this one compared to the max size of the other one. And then if I do ones like this one right here, because it is narrow, it's not wide, but it also has height to it, I'm able to make these bigger. So look at the size difference from the height difference on these from the bottom of this and then here. So it just appears bigger. It just really depends on the fan, like the style that you're using. If you are like, I saw so many people, they just use one standard Like theirs is just one standard. All they do is like take that one, they just put different pictures in it, and they only offered one style. You would automatically know what your max sizes are going to be for that one. But when people go and they give me pictures, some their pictures are far away. I mean, they're zoomed in, they're zoomed out. If I did not want to use, I didn't want to see the cat part on here, I would ungroup it. We would move this down some, and that's going to change the overall height of this. So I can be maxed out side to side, but then this looks shorter because the picture has to come down shorter. Now we might be able to make it just a little bit bigger and get some height there compared to if I had this like this. Now it's a really tall fan. So it just really depends. Oh my gosh, I can't believe did it not save correctly? Oh, I am so hurt right now. Her stole did not save? Like I'm missing the whole other side of her stole. O M to the J. OMJ. All right. Any other questions? Oh my gosh, I am so heartbroken right now. I am so heartbroken because where is this? Oh my gosh, seriously? Oh, it's there. This just moved. Okay, I'm like, what the heck? Okay, so yeah, that's how hers was. I'm like, what the world? Okay, it's still there. I didn't realize I didn't even see that part. I'm like, I thought the whole design was kind of gone, but um so that's just how that one was set up. So yeah, all of mine are different. What other questions do we have? All right, let's see. All right. Uh-oh, hold on. Let's go back over here. So some of the questions I'm getting, of course, I'm using for my yard signs, I use a Roland BN20. It's Aurajet. I'm just answering questions that I see like on the posts and things I just made. So it's Aurajet. I don't remember what the number was. I just know that it's a different one than they gave us before because this one is much thinner and it's actually a pain in the butt. I have the Roland BN20. I have technically the metallic version of the metallic setup, but I don't use my metallic ink. It's way expensive and I wasn't using it as much as I thought that I would. So I just have a cleaning cartridge in that spot. Let's see. My yard signs are 18 by 24. I also make posters that size that I mount to foam board. My yard signs are mounted to coroplast. I'm just going through answering questions from my post that I made earlier today. I think that was all of the questions on that one. Okay, let's see. Yes, all my live videos, unless unless a video has like really no questions whatsoever and it's just a lot of dead air, I don't save it. But typically I do. I talked about a few things in this one, so it will be saved. So as of right now, yes, if it gets to a point to where, if I end it now, it'll be saved, but it's like a lot of dead air. I just won't if no one's asking questions. So I asked the question earlier in the broadcast, but now we have more people on because the broadcast has been put out there. Are there any specific types of classes that you guys are interested in taking, like something that you're interested in learning? How to do the photos on footballs? Okay. I don't typically do a lot of those. I've done it like I think twice. I don't know. I will consider that one. That's one where I find that in classes like that, it's a lot of just kind of watching. If I was to ever do that, I would definitely prefer to do that live and in person, so that way I can see people's techniques and see what they're doing. When you're online, half the time people don't want to turn on their cameras, don't want to turn their microphones. They're like, oh, I'm just watching. I'm just going to watch the playback. I'm going to do it later. So we did the foam board one, and that was so many hours, and it's not like you can really talk through because you have to give people time to actually work on whatever they're working on. So I found myself just kind of like sitting there for long stretches of time while people were like cutting the foam board, and then you have to wait for one person to finish, and then someone else one person may be done and somebody else isn't. So everyone's now just waiting so that you don't leave them behind. So classes like that sometimes are a little bit harder to do. Like as a live setting, there's tons and tons and tons of tutorials on YouTube and things like that. It really is something that's going to take trial and error. I highly recommend getting a football that you are going to literally put this print on, take it off, put it on, take it off, so that you're practicing your technique. You understand how big it needs to be. You are practicing with using your X-Acto knife and not busting the football. So for me, I'm always going to if I was doing it, it would be a lot of cutting techniques and things like that, and not just, okay, hey, this is how you're going to do this, because it does take certain amount of skill. Like you have to know like the right pressure to put down on your ball to be able to use the X-Acto knife. Now, I will say there is a way that I do it. I don't technically use an X-Acto knife anymore like the last one that I did. There are certain tools that you can use, like the same one. I'll just put it this way. The same thing that they use to wrap cars and to be able to create clean lines, you can do that as well, but it does take more prep work. It does take more of a steady hand. It's going to be more equipment and supplies that you have to purchase. But the least expensive way of doing it is just getting the what's that stuff called? Principal transfer and putting on that way. I have a Roland BN20. I can print to adhesive vinyl. So I don't typically use, nowadays, I wouldn't typically use the Jet Pro, like the printable transfers for dark and then have to do all that Mod Podge stuff. Yeah, I can't stand the smell of Mod Podge. So for me, it would really be just using my Roland BN20 because that is, you can stretch it, you can use the heat. Once you really push it in there, it is permanent vinyl. There's not like they're going to be playing with the football. It's just meant to be displayed. So how I would do it versus how most people do it online, they're going to be totally different. I will say sometimes it really is hard for me to teach what you guys have seen on TikTok videos or Reels or YouTube because I've been doing it so long that those methods just don't work for me. So I'm always trying to kind of put myself back in like, okay, if I was a beginner doing this, what would I do? Because I find that a lot of people don't want to invest in, you don't have to like buy a rolling printer. You can just order your prints. But most crafters are like, well, I don't want to order from someone. I have my own printer. I want to print it myself. So it's those types are a little bit harder. I actually don't really teach that. I did it one time. I think that if you want to, learning it for yourself in case you need it on the fly and just knowing that skill. But I don't want to put that class out there as if I'm promoting this is a way to make a business of this. It would be 1,000 times better for you to create your design, submit it to someone, pay $7. Like most companies, you're going to pay $7 for a print. Everyone keeps saying, oh, no one here does it. I have to order everything online. There is literally somebody, some of everywhere, even if it's like a couple of cities over to where at least it wouldn't cost you $15 to ship it, or you may have to drive to go pick up that print. But it is going to be a whole lot better for you to order a print, even if you order two, to have a backup in case something messes up versus tiling together 9 to 15 sheets of paper and having all of those breaks in it and then selling that to a customer where you're seeing all of these lines and imperfections where the paper overlaps. If you end up with white gaps and stuff like that, that's just not professional. So I don't really do a lot of like teaching of class like that. Like I did a video where, hey, if you're doing something oversized, sometimes we have to do oversized. So I've done an oversized training, but it's like oversized prints for different things, like maybe a flag. I've done it for that. I've done it for like the big traffic master rugs and things like that. But I'm not really big on doing an all over shirt, tiling together a bunch of pieces of paper. It's just not effective. It's not efficient. You've provided us so many classes. I purchased a ton for me and live here on the farm and dealing with the vet aiming for hubby. I need to be able to do replays right now. I'm still going through the class I purchased and rewatching 30 days because all of the great info there. I do like the lives you do because each live provides additional tips and tricks and ideas that I never thought about. One thing that I guess I would like to do better, understand is better ways to, and we're waiting for the rest of that one. Okay. Incredible afternoon. Incredible afternoon or morning, depending on where you are in the States. Quite a few of you guys watching. I am here to answer questions if you have. If you've seen Reels, TikTok, certain things, and you want, like, even if it was done in Canva, you want to see it done in Silhouette Studio, again, ask those questions, guys. I haven't really been like live, and I have to go and do some work. I still have some senior stuff that has to be done, but I kept telling everyone I'm dying to teach. I can't wait to get back into doing classes. As much as, you know, the print shop has been booming for a month, like consistently and back to back orders, I do miss like just getting on Zoom and just teaching. So I have some things that are coming up, but I will say I am focusing a lot on the live classes, like, well, in-person ones, and teaching people in-house for t-shirt making and things like that. It's for you. I mean, I think you've been in most of these classes. It's not going to be anything like, I keep asking, like, what different do people want? And most people are asking for like the beginner stuff. And you've been through a lot of my classes, so I don't think anything that's coming up may be of like real significance for you if you've been through it. So it's going to be kind of like going back through the basics of things and kind of repeating some of them and just giving people the opportunity to attend these classes live. The bachelor's program, which is going to, the foundation of it is still the 30-day training. You still would have to get that, but we're going to break it down weekly. I'm not doing a full 30 days anymore, like straight 30 days. But every week we'll kind of basically tackle one or two of those videos to where it's more hands-on. I have a long-term program that's going to be about designing, and it's focusing on like just really understanding designing. It's a lot of the things I'm going to do now. I've kind of just looked at how some of the classes have been going, and I'm looking for I'm looking for students who really, really want to learn this for the long haul and not just make a quick buck now. And there's just things that you'll just learn over time. It's not quite a mentorship, but just kind of having those moments where I can sit down and talk about some of the things that I've gone through and like, hey, this is what happened. This is the challenges I faced. This is how we're working through that. Like, so just really teaching people how to run successful businesses is what I really am gearing up for now. Because I'll be honest, like in sessions like this, you know, it seems like the design part of it or just learning these things, you guys don't really ask questions for them. I get more questions on people like about the business. So I've had a plan for certain classes, but it's changed over time because even when I do these and like no one's really interested in asking about design questions or even machine, like things like that, it makes it a little bit harder to kind of go and put all this energy and effort into creating classes around that. So I've changed up a couple things. I am focusing on a lot of classes locally where people can kind of get their hands on the vinyl and learn to weed and learn to press and learn about placement and, you know, working with different garments and things like that. So like kind of moving past, well, on, yeah, that's kind of where we're going to be at with that one. Well, an F570, you still have to tile. Yes, you only have to tile 2 pieces, but you still have to tile. If you're really wanting to do all over, depending on the size that you're wanting to do, for a lot of the adult size. If you're doing a lot of kid things, you can definitely use the F570, but definitely going big or getting at least a 36-inch printer or larger is going to be best for all over. Yes, it is a very big difference. Less time consuming with having to piece things together because you can get more done and you can make more money. Because if you're spending hours and hours for one shirt, like taping it together, and then, you know, if it's not quite right and things like that, you're spending all this time just for one shirt compared to having that print, laying that shirt out, and then, you know, of course you can start out pressing it in sections, but if you desire to truly do all over shirts, whether you are going to finance it, get some type of loan or whatever, you need to also be working towards getting a large format press. That's going to make your life so much easier if you really, really want to do like you want that to be your primary a primary part of your business with doing all over shirts. All right, no questions. So we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Don't want to keep you longer than I have to. Thank you guys so very much for hopping on with me. I really wish there was more design questions. That's why I always have Silhouette Studio open to help you guys with that. So I will talk to you guys on Wednesday, most likely, because that's my normal Q&A day. If you guys don't know, I don't really do a lot, like, unless like it's something that comes up and I'm like, okay, yeah, I really want to share this. I don't do a lot of like just random, okay, come on, I'm going to do a tutorial on X, Y, and Z. Unless I need, I know I need content for my YouTube channels. It's all in, it's behind, a paywall. It's behind a class. I do these to be able to help you guys. If you're not able to book a one-on-one session, like this is your opportunity to ask those questions. So we only do them really like once a week, unless I'm doing a demo of something. Like if I'm making shirts, I'll just go live, just say, okay, hey, watch me make the shirts if you have questions about making them. But it's always the same thing. It's only, I don't have any different ways of making shirts. And that really is a promo, right? So, of course, making a Sublimation shirt allows me to highlight our amazing products, our Sublimation paper, our Sublimation ink that you can find on our website. So I'll do demos like for things like that. As much as I like doing the ones for the yard signs, I no longer do them where I am using just a squeegee. So I always feel like it's a disservice to show you guys like me doing yard signs because I'm using a cold laminator. Like I literally put it in there, hit a button, and it squeegees it down, and all I have to do is just cut it away. So I'm not sure if you guys want to, just see that because it really isn't much to it. I don't squeegee down by hand anymore, which is what most people have to do now. You have to watch my older videos for that one, because now when I'm doing them, like they're for an order and I want to just get them suckers done and out the door. But yeah, like demo videos is pretty much what you'll probably see in live videos. As far as anything design related, I encourage you guys to join some of the classes. All right. So until next time, guys, have a great one. Continue to unlock your creativity and be incredible. Peace.